Hi, hello, welcome back. I can't believe I'm actually recording this video. I'm a little nervous, and by a little nervous, I mean I already had to change my shirt because I was sweating so much.
I make everybody nervous.
But y'all requested this, so we're gonna do it. I'm gonna go back and rewatch and in turn react to my first ever classroom vlog. Here's the thing, I have never gone back and rewatched my old vlogs since I edited them and posted them. This video I posted in December of 2016, so it was almost halfway through my third year of teaching. And you know, I'm gonna have some feelings about it, but it's fine, we're fine, everything's fine, we're just gonna do it. Also, before we start, this video is over 30 minutes long. How I did that on a weekly basis is beyond me. Actually, I know how I did it. My now husband, but then boyfriend Billy at the time, was working a lot of late shifts and sometimes even like night shifts. And so Friday nights, I would stay at school really late and then get Subway on the way home and sit on the couch and edit until 2 or 3 a.m., wake back up at 7 a.m. in order to make sure the video actually posted because my internet was super slow. It was a struggle. Let me just say, as much as I miss vlogging, I don't miss that side of it. So all that to say, we're probably gonna skip over some parts because 32 minutes is a very long time. I literally am just happy to have made it through the morning because my kids have been absolutely bonkers. Like, it has to be a full moon or something. I have no idea what's going on. I do think it's funny that I mentioned the full moon because Billy and I have never been in agreement with that. He doesn't believe it's a real thing, but please defend me down in the comments. If you are a teacher, you know whether it's a full moon without even looking at the sky, just based on student behavior. So today is Monday, December 5th. It's currently about 7:15 in the morning. I got up around, I was supposed to get up at 6. I think I got up around 6:20. I just couldn't do it. Sad part is I will probably be the earliest I get up all week. I am not a morning person at all. So I'm gonna head to school. It's about a 15-minute drive for me. I am gonna stop and get coffee along the way because at this point, that's really just a necessity. It's not an option. And I will get to school hopefully around 7:35, 7:40-ish, and then by the time I carry all my stuff in, I'll have about a half an hour until the kids start coming in because they come in around 8:15. First of all, my facial expressions, the number of times I was maneuvering my eyebrows, but that still hasn't changed in terms of me not being a morning person, and this is very nostalgic because I know what's coming next. Dunkin', and I know those of you who used to watch my old vlogs, you were very sad when I stopped going to Dunkin' because I had my routine, I had my order, I would put the straw in, and it was a whole thing. I'll be honest, I'm not Team Dunkin' Donuts coffee anymore. I'm sorry, it's just, I really like very dark roast, like rich, very bitter coffee, and Dunkin' Donuts is not that.
That's good for $5 at Dunkin' Donuts. Any Dunkin' Donuts.
So for those of you who don't realize how close I live to Target, this is my apartment complex. That's Target. It doesn't matter now because I don't live there, but totally showed my apartment complex on YouTube, which was not smart. But I did live very close to Target and it was glorious.
Good morning, may I take your list?
Good morning. Can I get a medium iced coffee with the French vanilla swirl and cream, please?
No, first anything else?
Nope, that'll be it.
253.
All right, thank you. Of course, I already have the money out because I get this every single morning and I already know how much it's gonna be. So this would look much better if there wasn't a huge dumpster in the background. So just in case you only ever see those like Pinterest perfect classrooms being posted, this is what it actually looks like once my students are here. It is definitely a mess, and right now this is actually pretty clean because I actually have a half-day sub today. We have PD in the afternoon for math, so I actually kind of cleaned up my room on Friday, so this is it looking pretty good. Now, and I know I talked about this in my reacting to my first classroom tour vlog, but my room was so overstimulating. I had so many things crammed into little areas, and looking back, it hurts my eyes, so I can only imagine how my students felt. But I do really miss that side of me doing vlogs, like getting to show here's what my classroom is really like. And I think on social media, we so often see these very curated images and videos of what teachers are going through. And I think it's gotten better in terms of teachers being realistic with their experiences, but at the time that was not the case at all. You only posted pictures of your classroom when it looked perfect. And as a newer teacher, that was very hard because it was an unrealistic comparison. So I am happy that I showed like, hey, my room is a hot mess. Even as someone who prides themselves on having a very nice, organized room, there were definitely times where it was a hot mess, a lot of times. As you can see, like I have piles of paper just kind of sitting out at my back table. I have big piles of books that I'm still trying to label for my classroom library. I have my students' math homework folders that I need to put the new homeworks in this afternoon, and more books that need to be labeled for my library. Not to mention, this is what my student book bins look like. Like, are we serious right now? You didn't even try. So I have this huge bag of mini marshmallows that I got from my e.l.f. inferencing product that you saw in my last video, and I have no idea what I'm gonna do with them, so I was thinking of just handing them out to my students as a behavioral incentive, because at this point I'm definitely not above bribery. Okay, I skipped ahead a little bit, but handing out mini marshmallows close to winter break as a behavior incentive, I'm sorry, I still kind of stand behind that, because I know there are people that don't like rewards, and we want students to be intrinsically motivated, but the reality is in the real world, there are plenty of forms of extrinsic motivation. Like, you go to work to get a paycheck, that is a form of extrinsic motivation. And I love when I go to meetings and they have candy out. So I'm not opposed to that. It is now about 11:45. My sub just came for my half-day PD. The great part about professional development is that I get to go somewhere else to eat rather than eating in my room. But the bad thing is I actually have to go back to school after I'm done. We have a faculty meeting this afternoon, and I have quite a few things to catch up on. Just let it be known that this is what my desk looks like at the end of the day with a substitute. Not to mention, actually, I don't think that's that bad. In hindsight, I think it's just I liked my desk to be clear, but that really was not that bad. It is now about 5:04. And our faculty meeting ended around 4:30. Then I spent the last half an hour getting some copies made for my students' homework for math and grading a couple of papers that my students finished up today and putting in request for a substitute in the spring because I get to go on a cruise and I'm very excited about that. But tonight's going to be kind of a late night because progress grades are due tomorrow, plus I need to change out the homeworks in my student math folders, so I will check in with you closer to when that's all done. So I probably should have done this earlier in the day, but I always have people commenting, asking me to do a video on teacher outfits. First of all, I'm the last person on the face of this earth who should be doing that video. I literally dress as comfortably as I can every single day. I really don't put a whole lot of effort into my appearance at all. However, I will show you my outfit today. This is about as fancy as I ever get, like ever. It's pretty simple. This is just a shirt that I got at Kohl's. It's just a basic long sleeve t-shirt. This necklace came from Charming Charlie's. And then I have a pencil skirt. This came from Kohl's and I got it on Black Friday for like 20 bucks. And then I have these gold shoes and these were from Easy Spirit, I believe. They were like $15, but I like them because they're actually really comfortable and they're still somewhat cute. I love how I said people were asking me in the comments for outfits. There were probably 2 comments that maybe asked me for outfits, but that's still the case. I find basic things and wear them. Like, I'm not a fancy dresser. So as you can see, when I stay late at school to get work done, I typically like to work at this back table. I don't know why, but my desk just is not quite enough room for me, and back here I can really spread out. So that's just what I personally prefer. You can see I pretty much always set up my personal laptop and I will watch YouTube videos or Netflix or Hulu or something while I get it done. That helps me take my focus off the work. I will most likely be eating the marshmallows that I brought in, and here is the students' math homework, and I'll just quickly explain how I do this. So we just started using everyday mathematics this school year, so it's actually a new way of doing math homework for me, but this is what has worked for me thus far. It may not be the best way to do it, but basically at the start of each unit, I print off the whole unit of homework for each student. So this is all of Unit 4's homework. I hole punch it and I put it in these plastic homework folders that my students have for math. So these are just plastic folders with prongs on the inside that I got at Target. I quickly put a label with each student's name on it, and basically the whole unit goes in here. Each morning my students just leave it out on their desk opened up to last night's homework. I quickly check it off, and then at the end of the unit I will take out all of the papers and I actually put it over here in my mailboxes to go home, and then I replace it with the new unit of math homework. So I think we have a total of like 9 units throughout the school year, so I really only have to do this 9 times. It is somewhat time consuming. You can see I already took out the last unit of homework. I did that on Friday, but I didn't have enough time to print them out and put them in, so I'm gonna go ahead and do that now. It should take probably about 15-20 minutes to get it done. So looking back, I don't even want to get into the whole homework debate. If I had the choice, I wouldn't assign homework. However, that's not the reality in a lot of schools or districts. Plus, a lot of times families want homework, and so it's a whole other issue. But I don't think that's a bad system. I like the idea of doing a unit at a time. However, why was I the one doing this? This is totally something my students could have helped with. All I would have had to do is show them how to use the prong folders one time, and then each unit I could just give them their papers and have them put it in. So why I felt the need to do this on my own is beyond me, but I do love the whole like having my laptop to watch videos, because that still is me. Anytime I'm doing something, like I have a video playing. It's just a comfort thing. 5:36, and I now have to do progress reports. They're due tomorrow at noon. I know there is zero way that I will have time in the morning, so I've got to get them done tonight. I'm hoping it won't take too long. All of my grades are in there and updated. Basically, I just have to go in, add comments, add reading levels, math levels, all that, and hopefully I can get it done in like, I'm gonna be ambitious and say like half an hour, but it will realistically take probably 45 minutes. So looking back, it sounds like I was up to date on my grading, but why I waited until the day before to get comments and stuff done, I get it, I was busy, but now, like as I started teaching longer and longer, I would really mark those dates on my calendar and make sure I was getting it done like several days ahead of time and being proactive as much as possible, but I guess I'll give myself a pass on that. So it's 6:30, my progress grades are all done, and I was super excited because I thought that meant that I got to go home until I remembered that tomorrow is Tuesday, and every Tuesday my students have a folder that goes home. We call it their Tuesday folder. Basically, it's where I put graded papers and then any papers from the office that need to go home. The students take it home Tuesday night and they bring it back signed on Wednesday. And unfortunately this weekend I kind of had a grading marathon because grades were due, so I have a ton in my mailbox right now. So you can see up here, that's where I put all of my student papers that are graded and need to go home. And then one of my student jobs is the mailman. Basically, they put all of the papers into their mailboxes and they sort them. However, my student that is my mailman was not here today, so he was not able to put any papers in there, which means I need to do it so that I can put them in the folders and they are ready to go home tomorrow. No, Michelle, you don't need to do it. You're telling yourself you do, but you don't. I understand my dilemma. The issue is I totally could have had another student fill in as mailman, and even if that wasn't the case, if they went home the following week, it would have been fine. This is not something as a teacher I need to spend my time doing, because the amount of time I spend versus like the result, it's not worth it. This is something my students can take care of, and I should not have been staying, you know, another hour past later time. It was what, 6:30? So I'm not gonna end up leaving school until after 7 p.m. Like, there was no need for this. Book that I needed has not come, and it said it wasn't due in until November 8th, I think. So I was trying to figure out what else I could do instead. I got home, I checked my mailbox, and it was here. I'm so happy. So I got the Wild Christmas Reindeer. I'm gonna do the 1 week Rooted in Reading Pack by Amy Lemons and Katie King. Last week I did polar bears with my students, and they read a lot of nonfiction books about polar bears and did some research. So it's moments like this that I'm super happy that Target is like literally right next to me. I just had a major teacher fail. I totally forgot that I promised my kids I would get them more Rice Krispie treats because I ran out earlier. I ate my dinner, I sat down to lesson plan, and I remembered that I never went and got them, so I'm gonna be a good person, pull through, run into Target real fast. Hopefully I can only come out with Rice Krispie treats. So this is why it takes me so long to lesson plan. When I can't find something that's exactly what I want, I just end up making my own. This is a ending blends bingo game that I'm... Okay, so I don't even know what time it is at this point. This is obviously a night when Billy was working late, so I get it. I wanted to just to stay busy, but can we just talk about this font? What a horrible font, because the letters are all wonky, like the N's and the H's, they don't even look like the actual letters. This was not beneficial for my students at all. Like the concept of the game is fine, but the font that I chose, like that is horrible for especially young elementary, like primary grades. Oh, Michelle. So it is 11 something at night. I don't even know what time it is. I know it's after 11 though. I am finally done lesson planning for tomorrow. Please do not think I'm crazy watching this. Like, I'm sure there's people thinking, oh my gosh, this girl doesn't stop. Today was just one of those days where a lot of things all fell on today and I just had to get them done. So it was a lot more than usual. Not every day is like this. Please don't be scared if you're like an education major and you're not in the classroom yet. But I would say I have at least one like long day a week. I do like having it earlier in the week because hopefully that means the rest of my week will go by more smoothly and I won't have quite as much to do and I'll have more free time. I have quite a few products that I'm wanting to get up on TPT. It's just a matter of time. And when I'm working on things for my own personal classroom until 11 p.m., unfortunately those things kind of get pushed to the back burner because I do have to put my students in my classroom first. But I'm going to try my best to get those up later this week or this weekend, or eventually they will come, I promise. I might talk a little bit in this video, I'm not sure. Actually, I'm not even going to say that because I probably won't. But for now, I'm going to go to sleep, so I will try to vlog as much as I can tomorrow, and I will see you then. Okay, so I'm working until after 11 p.m., which one was 100% not sustainable. Do not recommend.
Because now the late night work jam begins.
And I do agree with what I said about having one day a week where you would like work really late. That was something that helped, especially early on when I was still navigating all of the things I had on my plate. However, I already showed there were several things that I did during that block of time that were not necessities and could have waited until the next day, or I could have recruited my students' help for. And in reality, I was just making more work for myself. And maybe it's because I felt it's this like badge of honor that comes with feeling busy, right? When in reality, it's not necessarily a good thing. And then we come to the next morning and my hair is wet, probably because I woke up at the last minute because I was so tired because I had been working so late the night before. So it is Tuesday, December 6th. My goal for this channel and doing these vlogs is to be as open and transparent with you all as possible. So really just to give you a real glimpse into my life, and I really don't want to paint any kind of picture that isn't true. So this is about as real as it gets. It is 7:38. I'm just now leaving. I need to be there at 8:15. I was supposed to get up at like 6. Did not happen. I didn't fall asleep until after 1 a.m. so I was absolutely exhausted. I basically got up at 7:10, showered, brushed my hair, didn't even dry it or do anything with it, got dressed and left. So this is about as real as it gets. I do this probably about 4 times a week. So yesterday, me actually getting up and like doing my hair. So yeah, no wonder I'm exhausted. I have always struggled to fall asleep. That's been my entire life, and it's still something that I struggle with because I can't turn my brain off. But regardless, I am happy that I was showing the realities. The issue is my reality is not necessarily everyone else's reality, because I have always been like a workaholic. It's something I'm working on. I'm getting better with it, but I'm sure there were probably people that watched this and were like, oh my goodness, I'm not going into teaching. And that wasn't my goal, but I also didn't want to paint this like rainbows and unicorns of here's what teaching is like. And that's not the reality. I think it's kind of somewhere in the middle for most people. So I'm happy that I showed like the honest look at it all, but looking back, I'm like, Michelle, you also were making your life way harder than it needed to be. Also, I can hear my voice. I feel like I'm getting sick. I can hear a raspiness, which, you know, because of all the work, I'm sure that I will get sick. And this is what my classroom looks like in the middle of the day. It is absolutely all over the place. It's currently a little bit after noon. I'm currently having my lunch, and I literally am just happy to have made it through the morning because my kids have been absolutely bonkers. Like, it has to be a full moon or something. I have no idea what's going on. And I think the fact that I'm tired doesn't help because I have like zero patience for it today. But that being said, tomorrow and Thursday my students have testing. So hopefully that will make it go by faster. I don't know. We'll see. I will say, and I know I showed it in quite a few of the vlogs around this time, that group of students I had during my third year of teaching was a very, very challenging group. It was a lot of personalities that clashed and a lot of needs, you know, emotional, physical, all of that. And it was a lot. And so looking back, I feel for myself because I know like I was trying as hard as I could and with as much knowledge that I had as a third year teacher to do my best. But I definitely wasn't as equipped for handling all of those needs as I wouldn't say as I should have been. I mean, I was a third year teacher. Like, of course I wouldn't have that experience, but I was trying and like I did everything that I felt like I should be doing and it was still not helping. So that was hard. So earlier in the video, I showed you how I change out my students' math homework at the start of a unit. I'm also going to show you how I manage the exit tickets. So I just quickly made these up last night. There's one for each lesson within the unit, and these go with the everyday mathematics curriculum. That's personally what we use. And so I go ahead and I print all of them out at once. I make the copies, I cut them in half, and then I go ahead and put the binder clip on them. I'm going to take out the ones that I need for later this week. The rest of them I'm going to take over to my filing cabinet. Bear with me for a second. And I'm going to show you how I store these. So within my filing cabinet, right here I have a folder for each unit of the math. Within the folder, I already have printed off the letters that go home at the beginning of the unit for the families. Those are all printed off and ready to go. And then I also have my unit tests for each one already printed. That was very smart of me. That was something that my future self definitely thanked me for, because batch printing as much as possible, especially if you have a set curriculum where you have access to all the materials, like take a day at the beginning of the year and print all of that type of stuff so that you have it ready to go. I mean, I think that that's a fantastic system as long as you have the space to store the copies, and you can even maybe have a parent volunteer who can help with that. But that definitely, like, batching copies in advance is chef's kiss. Highly recommend. And after that, I'm gonna leave, go to the gym, and then hopefully be productive tonight and get some things up on TPT, because last night I ended up working on stuff for my classroom. I didn't get anything on TPT, so that's the goal tonight. Fingers crossed. So I thought I'd quickly show you part of my lesson planning. I do like to have a bulleted out like timeline of my day. So yeah, I was talking about how I was balancing like handling everything for the classroom, also TPT, also YouTube. It was a struggle. Like, I had a lot on my plate, and I look back and I have no idea how I did it, besides the fact that I was in my early 20s and had a lot more energy. But this whole like mapping out my schedule by the minute, that's still something that I did a lot. It just helped me kind of conceptualize, and I've never been the type to write out like detailed lesson plans for each lesson. Instead, I would just make a set of corresponding slides that would guide me through the lesson, and that's how I knew that everything was in there. So it's just funny seeing how like I wrote it out like to the minute of my schedule, because that even year 7, that's still something that I did. It is Thursday, December 8th. I'm currently waiting for my car to defrost so that I can go get coffee and head to school. Last night I ended up not working on anything, and honestly it felt really good. Normally I feel guilty if I don't like work on things when I get home, but honestly I was just super tired. I don't know why, but this week is like wiping me out. I love that I say I don't know why I'm tired. Michelle, have you not seen everything in this video that you've done? Of course you're tired, but go me for recognizing that pushing myself to keep working was only making things worse, and I'm happy that I was able to take a night, not work on things until 11 p.m. and not feel guilty about it either. It's a little bit after 4 and I'm leaving school, which is nice. I don't have a whole lot to do when I get home. I do have to quickly plan out my math groups for tomorrow, but I'll show you how I do that because it's really simple. I'm gonna go to the gym, come home, shower, and then go to trivia, which is something I do every Thursday night. I recommend you find some kind of activity or hobby or something that you can look forward to throughout the week. Personally, every Thursday night I go to trivia, and it's really good motivation for me to get through my week, and I know once I go to trivia I only have one more day left in the week, so I definitely recommend you find something like that, whether it's a paint night or going to a friend's house or going to the movies or just going shopping, something to look forward to. I think it makes the week a whole lot better. I still think that's solid advice, and I miss going to trivia. I loved when Billy and I did trivia. I would even take this a step further and say you have to find that non-negotiable, like what is that part of your personal life that you're not willing to budge on? So for me, a lot of times it was the gym. Like I went to the gym no matter what, and I didn't miss it because it's something that made me feel good mentally, physically.
I want you to bring that same buffaloing passion to this gym.
But having things like that to look forward to, but then also holding yourself accountable and not missing it because you know that that's something that is going to bring you joy, and you need to have those boundaries in place. Quickly making a couple of copies for our craft that we're making this morning. After we're done and my students go to special, I will show you what that looks like. I wanted to go ahead and show you my outfit for today. It is a casual day. Let me know down in the comments how often your school has casual days. Personally, we have 2 a month, and we have to donate money to a charity that's chosen. So I did get to wear jeans today, which is always exciting. I remember that, my goodness. Thankfully, the other school that I taught at, we were able to wear jeans far more frequently, but yeah, at my first school, you could wear jeans twice a month, but you had to make a donation, and the money went to charity, which was great, but I just feel like teachers should be allowed to wear jeans because if they're more comfortable, they teach better. It's a whole thing. When my students come back from special, they're gonna be taking their spelling test. So I've gone ahead and put one of these strips at each student's desk. That way, as soon as they get in the room, they can go ahead and get their name on it and start numbering it. This is the simplest thing ever. I just take a bunch of this writing paper, I prep it in advance, I cut it right in half to make this strip so it doesn't waste a whole lot of paper. And I do keep a paper cutter in my room. This one is personally from Stamping Up because my mom is a demonstrator for them, so I've had this for a couple of years. But Fiskars also makes quite a few different paper cutters that are thin and compact and easy to keep in your classroom. I definitely recommend you get a paper cutter if you don't already have one. It is a huge time saver, and it just makes your life a whole lot easier. That is still something I recommend to every teacher. I love having a paper cutter and a personal laminator. I had one in my classroom and at home. You don't have to go that extreme, but it's definitely super handy to have. That's one of those like must-have purchases for me. It's been a long day when you find your coffee still a quarter of the way full at the very end of the day sitting on a table. So it's about 5 o'clock and I'm ready to get out of here. So normally on Fridays I stay late, like 8:30, 9 o'clock, and I get all those little things done off my to-do list. But right now I actually don't have too much that I have to stay at school for. So I'm gonna go home, put on comfy clothes, sit on the couch, edit this video, get it put up on YouTube as soon as possible. So please give me some feedback down in the comments. Okay, so obviously I skipped over a fair amount because it was so lengthy, but overall, my thoughts, it's crazy looking back. I knew I was busy during that time, but now seeing it after kind of getting out of that mindset of feeling like I always have to be working, it was not sustainable. And I knew that at the time, but I think I felt a certain level of identification with being someone that was busy and worked a lot. It made me feel successful in a certain way. And I've now realized that like my success is not tied to the amount that I work and even some of those like external factors. So I think I've grown a lot, and it's crazy just to go back and see. It's one of those live and learn type of situations. You don't know what you don't know. And I think it was part of my like teacher evolution of having to go through that and learn from it. And it wasn't a fast process. I mean, I struggled with that for a couple more years before I really got the hang of it. But I'm happy that I documented so much through my vlogs because I enjoy being able to go back and see where my mind was at with things, and it's like an online virtual diary. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I don't know, it was very cringy for me to do, but if you did enjoy it, please give the video a thumbs up. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button and notification bell so you don't miss any future videos. As always, thank you for watching. I love you so much. Don't forget to put your positive pants on, and I will catch you in the next one.